She couldn't be here today because she's doing a 16-hour workshop between today and tomorrow, so I was really sad about that. But she's a community interpreter. I met her actually through a spin meeting. We met, I set up a few observations, and then by the second observation, I was like, I love you, please be my mentor. And she was like, all right, let's do it. So that was awesome. She does a lot of really cool things. I got to observe a lot of her work. I was with her for the majority of my internship. She's amazing. So these are my internship hours. I had 358.75 hours total. Some of my AB hours included the MMA class that I interpreted along with Caitlin, Tony, and Sarah. I did some Red Wings games. I did the beer night event with Tony. I did a couple high school classes. I did an RIT class, which is supposed to be secret because you're not supposed to do RIT classes, but my mentor's teamer didn't show up, and she was like, please, just for a little while, and I was like, okay. And then I also did a Buffalo Zoo event, which was amazing. Some of my C hours are, I observed a lot of staff meetings, so at RIT, at MCC, I observed the Senate meetings, Senate committee meetings, attorney-client meetings. I observed an RSD day camp, which was lots of fun. And then for my D hours, I also logged them wrong at first. So the first few are really wrong, but I did do some paperwork for the agency that I got worked through. And then I made a template for my invoices because that's kind of important, and I needed my mentor's help for that. And then my E hours are everything else. So I did a lot of stuff. Most of my hours came from studying for the NIC exam because I'm planning on taking the written soon-ish, hopefully. Yeah. So how did I improve my connections with the deaf community? Going out and volunteering your time to interpret for their events is very helpful in making connections with the deaf community. They really appreciate you being there, and you will have a lot of fun being there. So don't be afraid. They understand you're a student. They wouldn't accept you if they didn't know you were a student, and they didn't think you could do it. So you gotta just put yourself out there. We met a lot of cool people at the beer night event. There was that one guy that drew me and Tony, which was awesome. That was super cool to watch. We like literally sat right there and he did it in 5 minutes. It was awesome. And then the Buffalo Zoo event, I started off interpreting for 5 deaf people, and then it turned to 1 deaf person. And by the end of it, it was like a 4 or 5 hour thing, and then the deaf person was like, okay, the tour guide is leaving, can you stay with me? And I was like, I actually think I'm gonna go. I don't know the zoo that well. He was like, you can finish the tour. No, I can't. But that was fun anyway. He really appreciated me being there. An ASL student, like an ASL-1 student from some some Buffalo school came up to me and started signing to me. So that was fun. I did the Rochester Red Wings recently, like this past week. Some deaf guy like came up to me while I was on the field interpreting, and he's like, hey, were there always interpreters here? And I was like, this is the time to have this conversation, can you wait? The MMA classes were also really fun. The deaf science was super awesome. He was really nice. It was really fun working with him. We could make jokes. We talked about the people in the class. I probably shouldn't have done that, but he was really cool. When I was finishing the class, he like thanked me and he wished me luck, and I was like, oh, can I take you home with me, please? Because I need more deaf people in my life like you. But that was really fun. And then the spin meetings, I met a few deaf interpreters at the spin meeting that I went to, and then I actually met her like a week later again at an event that I came to. So then I got her contact information information, and we kept in touch. The hardest lessons learned. Everyone wants and expects different things from you as a student. So some interpreters that you go to observe will say, don't be a B interpreter for me. I don't need your beads. I am fine. If I needed you to do it, you would just stand up here and do it. So that's fine. That's on them. Some interpreters will be like, yeah, right now, go ahead. And then you go. So really, it's what you expect from the internship, what you want to do with your time, because at the end of all this chaos, it's for you and it's to help improve your interpreting skills. Trust yourself and your mentor. I had a really tough time learning that my hands could actually produce signs without me physically forcing them out. So you gotta trust that you know the language, you've studied it for years, just go ahead and do it. And your mentor is also not gonna throw you in something that they know you're not ready for and then leave you hanging. So you gotta know that. You have to trust that if you're really drowning, they're gonna step in and help you. You're doing better than you think you are. There have been multiple times, one specific time with Desiree, where I was like, oh, that was terrible. And she's like, what are you talking about? That was fine. So you really are, again, as Tony said, your own worst critic. You can really tear yourself down better than anyone and everyone else can, but you have to know that it's not going to be the end of the world if you mess up. And the last one is get over yourself. This is in quotes because Lauren literally told me this. I was like complaining to her about being afraid to use gestures, and she was like, it makes it more visually clear. You're afraid to look like an idiot, get over yourself. And I was like, you're right. So I just like took it and went on. And I'm not gonna lie, I've made myself look like an idiot a few times, but it works. So accept it, move on. My best memories, again, the beer night event, super, super fun. The Buffalo Zoo event was also really fun. Interpreting MMA, again, really awesome. And then I had a lot of lunches and dinners with my mentor, and she brought a lot of interpreters that I met. And those were always fun, making those connections, getting those contacts, networking is great for you and for them. Advice for next year's interns. Believe in yourself. I know we got one of those already. But you really do know what you're doing. Brian wouldn't throw you out there if you didn't. So believe that you can do it, and then you will. Take chances. As we've said before, you guys are still students. So if you mess up, you have somebody watching over you. They're going to help you, and you are allowed to take those chances now as opposed to in the future be by yourself and then accept this interpreting job that you know nothing about and screw up being the only interpreter there. So do it while you're still a student. You have that excuse. Use it to your advantage. And then don't be afraid to use your resources. That includes the seniors now. Current graduating class. Use us. If you want contact information, if you want our mentors' information, or if you want ideas for deaf events, or advice about whether or not you should take this volunteer opportunity, go ahead and ask. We're your friends. We're family. And that's it. Time to work off these guys.